Hey guys, it's Annie Margarita Yang back with another video for you today. And today I'm going to teach you how you can get an education for very little money. You should stick around because all the things I'm going to explain are going to cost less than $20 each. So earlier this year, I came across a quote by Jim Rohn, and it is just my favorite quote ever. I totally live by it now, and I just think it's gonna be my quote of the year. And this quote is, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom." So in the past, I have been so focused on cutting back as much as possible and saving all the money that I could because, it doesn't really matter how much you make. What matters is how much you keep. There are people out there who make a ton of money, but because they spend all of it and don't keep any of it, they live paycheck to paycheck and they are constantly broke, right? So what matters is how much you keep. But I realized at some point, if I want to reach my goal of becoming financially independent at a very young age, I can't just keep playing defense. I'm going to have to play offense. So that involves making more money. And how do I make more money? I'm going to have to get an education and have more skills so I can become more valuable to the marketplace. In the last 2 years, I have been just much more focused on educating myself, having more skills so that I can command more money for the amount of value that I provide to the company that I work for. So I have set aside around $50 a month in the last 2 years toward my continuing education and my love for lifelong learning. And my top 3 choices for educating myself are through Udemy courses, through Amazon Audible, and through Pimsleur. I'm going to explain to you why these are my top 3 choices and why you should use them for educating yourself for very little money. And let's get started. So the first one is Udemy. But I don't really want to talk about Udemy for just a moment. I want to talk about Skillshare, which is the competitor for Udemy. So I see a lot of YouTubers on here. They are sponsored by Skillshare and they are just financially incentivized to promote Skillshare as a platform for continuing to educate yourself. So I tried it out for myself, the trial version, and I just didn't like it that much. While I believe it's great that you get access to an unlimited amount of courses that they have for a flat monthly fee, I had a really difficult time differentiating like which courses were the best ones versus just an average course or a bad course. I don't really want to waste my time trying to figure out which ones were the best courses to take. That's why I use Udemy. So Udemy, it's kind of different. You have to pay per course, but if you buy them on sale, they're only $12.99 each, first of all. And if you take just one course a month, you're pretty much effectively paying just $12.99 a month. It's not important to me to have an access to all these different courses. What matters to me is the quality of the course. So I want to be able to take the best course out there. I don't want to have to sit down and just go through all these different stuff and figure it out for myself. I just want it all structured and put together for me. So I only buy the best-selling courses or the ones that are labeled highly rated and the ones that have thousands of students enrolled in a single course. That is an indicator to me that this is a really good course, and it's worth my time because my time is very important too. Based on my experience of taking those kinds of courses, they are just absolutely phenomenal and outstanding. The teachers for these courses, you can tell they have spent hours of their time creating these courses and probably a lot of money because the quality of these videos are outstanding too. So I just think that Udemy courses are totally worth it and they are worth it for you to check out. I have bought 41 courses so far over the last 2 years. And so that means I probably spent around $530. I haven't taken all of them. I just feel like I'm in a candy store, so I can't help but buy more courses. The second resource that I use for continuing my learning is Amazon Audible. So I'm sure if you're very much into personal finance, you've already heard of this very popular blog in the FIRE movement called Mr. Money Mustache. Well, I'm part of the Facebook group called Mustachians in Practice. And actually just 2 days ago, Someone wrote a post about like Amazon Audible is a total waste of money. Why would you spend $14.95 a month to get one credit, which can buy you one audiobook a month, when you can just get like an unlimited amount of free books by borrowing them from the library, or you can use like Kindle Unlimited, you know? So here's my argument. I listened to Amazon Audible during my commute. I actually didn't even have an Audible subscription until COVID-19 started and I started to have to drive to work. So I use it during my commute because I just feel like commuting is just such a dead time, you know? I use it as a way to incorporate more productivity into this dead time because my time is very important and time is money. If I can incorporate this into my life, like more education in the same amount of time that I would have wasted anyway on a commute, like why not? You know, for $14.95 a month. I think it's very much worth it. And what do I usually buy with my Audible subscription? There's this publishing company called Nightingale Conant for personal development. I love all their tapes, but they're very expensive. Like if you buy it directly from nightingaleconant.com, their tapes are like $40. Some of them, which are really good, are over $100. I've never bought directly from them. I use my Audible subscription to buy one tape a month. And while it's not an education in terms of like increasing your skills, you are increasing or bettering your worldview, essentially. You know, your worldview, your philosophy, your attitude, everything that you believe that it takes to become successful, you know, all of that changes you. So I believe that education is more than just what you learn in school and in a textbook or just the hard skills that you can get. What really matters is your approach to life, you know? And so I use Nightingale Conant as my way of exploring different ways to approach life because that affects the decisions that I choose to make. But recently, after watching the Hamilton musical, I became very much into Alexander Hamilton's life. And so I used my Audible subscription last month to buy the audiobook for his biography. Man, Hamilton just came from nothing. He was an immigrant, came to America, and he's totally self-made man. And when you listen to someone's autobiography on how they became so successful and all the struggles that they went through, like he was insecure at times, you know, he has his moments. So to know that someone who's super successful is also just like you. They have fears, they have insecurities, but they went ahead and conquered those fears anyway and did it anyway, overcame all their obstacles. You know what? You can do it too. And that is just the most empowering thing about education, to just know that you have the power in you to also be just like them. They are not any different from you. So I believe that's why Amazon Audible is a great resource to use for continuing your education. The third resource which I recommend for you to use is Pimsleur, which is for learning a foreign language. So guys, I actually didn't incorporate this into my life until last month. But so far using Pimsleur, I love it because I can incorporate this into my commute too. I'm not required to interact with the app in any way. I can just turn it on, start driving to work or going home, you know, and it's a very like conversational kind of learning style where you just repeat after what you hear, and therefore the focus is very much on the pronunciation of this foreign language that you're trying to learn. Versus like learning the grammars and all that stuff. I think the pronunciation is extremely important because if you want to learn a language and sound fluent, like even if your grammar is really good, your vocabulary is really good, if your pronunciation is off, people don't think you're fluent in the language. So the focus that Pimsleur has is on the pronunciation. So that's why I recommend Pimsleur. So that's enough on why I think Pimsleur is a good resource for you to use for learning a foreign language. I want to touch more on why you should learn a foreign language. So the world is becoming more interconnected, and America as a country is becoming more diverse, right? And our jobs are getting outsourced to other countries, which isn't a good thing. We should manufacture our own stuff so we can be more independent economy-wise. But the truth is, like, the reality is it's happening. And you can't just sit back and want things to go back to the way they were. You're going to have to look at reality the way it is and decide what kind of action you personally are going to take to ensure that you will continue to be competitive in this marketplace. And one of those ways is to learn that foreign language. Learning another language can open up job opportunities that you wouldn't have had access to before. Learning a new language can help you make connections with people who don't have English as their first language. But because you went and made the extra effort to learn their language, they might be more open to becoming a very good connection for you. And that connection might give you the opportunity that you need. Or if you ever want to move to a new country and start a new life there, you can, because you can speak the language. Or maybe you own a business here in the United States and you yourself are looking to expand that business internationally. Well, knowing that language is also going to be very helpful for you when it comes to expanding internationally. So that's why I think that, if you have the time, or if the willingness, because everyone commutes, right? If you have the willingness to learn a new language, you can use Pimsleur as a resource to learn a new language during your commute. So those are the 3 things that I use, Udemy courses, Amazon Audible, and Pimsleur. And I spend around $50 a month. I highly recommend you do this too, okay? If you have any other resources that maybe I don't know about or other people don't know about, please feel free to contribute in the comment section below. I just want to hear all this discussion, and maybe I might learn about this resource and incorporate it into my life. So I want to hear from you guys too. What do you use if you are continuing your education without college? If you haven't done so already, guys, you can support my channel by buying my book, 1001 Ways to Save Money. Quit flushing your hard-earned money down the toilet on Amazon. Not only will this add value to your life, you're also going to be helping me out financially. This is the only product that I sell on my channel. I do not take sponsorships. I do not do affiliate marketing. So that's why, everything I say on here is very authentic. I have trouble right now producing videos more often than once a month because 1, I have a full-time job. 2, I have a side business doing bookkeeping for clients. And then 3, with, my ongoing education that I'm committed to. And then 4, I have to do this YouTube channel to provide the valuable information to you guys. So if I could use some money to, hire help, that would be great. I might be able to do more videos than just once a month, which is my goal for 2021. I want to be able to publish every 2 weeks rather than every month. So please help me out by doing that. Also, just subscribe and hit that like button. The more, the better, so that more people will know about my channel. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot today, and I will see you next time. Bye.